Here's an overview on how we're going to manage altered mental status patients, whether it's due to alcohol, drugs, blood glucose, body temp, hypoxia, hypercarbia, shock, overdose, over meds, behavioral stuff, including the fakers or people that are just having a problem maintaining due to lack of taking their meds or something, a head trauma, infection, sepsis, and those that are post-ictal. Numerous causes of altered mental status. The main thing, as with all things, is once you determine you're not coding this patient, then let's maintain CVO. Let's stamp out snoring. Let's open airways, check on oxygenation, check on ventilation, check on circulation. Not many of these folks have circulatory problems. If you have to do any immediate intervention, then get that going. But let's do not ever let the investigation distract us from circulation, ventilation, and oxygenation, which again is emphasized here. Now, sometimes you can guess pretty well what the cause is. If you're dispatched for a patient who has overdosed on heroin and you walk in and it's fairly obvious that that's what's going on, then let's get to work on that. But let's also never ever forget that we need to rule out everything, check everything. It's okay to recognize a pattern. It is not okay to tunnel vision. So once you think you've got it, that's great. You should get to your differential pretty quickly and start working on that, but then systematically try to rule out that there's anything else going on. We're going to suggest this is the route you go first. Rule out hypoxia or hypercapnia. Put these folks on capnography and pulse oximetry. Get a glucose check. They're going to need an IV in most cases. Do that at the same time. Real quick to rule out hyperthermia or hypothermia, use your thermometers. Consider they might be post-ictal. They got oral trauma. They've got urinary incontinence. They have a history of seizures, or even if they don't, consider that maybe they're altered right now because they just had a seizure. Do the best you can on a field neuro exam. That should include a stroke scale. It should include pupils. It should include considering whether there's alcohol or drugs involved. It should consider a quick check of cranial nerves. Can they move their head and neck around? Can they use their senses? Quick checks of those kind of things. You can do a field neuro exam in well under a minute. A lot of these folks may not be cooperative with all parts of it, but do what you can. Consider alcohol, but be really hesitant to say he's just drunk. Work on determining if street drugs were involved, and sometimes you're going to know and sometimes you're not, and people don't tell you the truth, and I understand all that, but always consider it. And then consider a possibility of over-medication. Either they overdosed on purpose or they accidentally over-medicated. Some patients that are confused can't remember if they took their meds, so they take their meds, but they already took their meds, so now they've over-medicated. Maybe there's head trauma. If you're not going to do a physical on your patient, then you're really just halfway treating your patient. You got to do a history and physical. Maybe you'll be able to find something there. And then sometimes it is just behavioral, whether they're faking it or they haven't taken their pills to help them maintain a normal affect and function. But I think we should be very hesitant to say that they're just faking. We should rule out all these other things. Now, why would someone fake altered mental status? Well, sometimes it involves being in custody or incarcerated. Sometimes it's attention seeking. Sometimes they're looking to fake a seizure or something and try to get some benzos IV for that. I mean, who knows? People do all kinds of strange things. But look at all these possible causes. If you're pretty sure you know which it is, we'll start down that road, but come back and check all of these out. So CVO, circulate, ventilate, oxygenate, then investigate. I certainly hope that phrase is in your head at 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 years after you graduate the program. Always maintain CVO while you do your investigation. And again, look for all the causes. Don't just think you've guessed the puzzle when you find the first thing wrong. These folks will have more than one thing wrong sometimes. Frequently, there is alcohol involved on top of something else. Start treating as you find the cause, then keep looking until you've checked everything and do a physical exam. Again, just because they've been drinking or doing drugs doesn't mean that is the only reason why they're altered. Rule out everything. Certain times, certain days, in certain areas, everybody you encounter after, say midnight on a Saturday night is halfway impaired for some reason or another, but they can also be hypoglycemic. They can also be hyperthermic. They've been to the rave party. They might have seized and now they're just post-ictal, but they have alcohol involved. So we are better than that. We don't have to get fooled. We should recognize patterns but not tunnel vision. Always do an H&P. It's a history and a physical. History and a physical. Do that field neuro exam. Look for head trauma, needle marks. Use your senses to try to detect what's going on with them. Check the glucose, check a temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, I don't understand that, but you're going to have to estimate as best you can. But a temperature is certainly something we can measure quickly. And then try to get some history. Sometimes history on these folks is really difficult to extract, but just do the best you can. Make sure that you are doing things while you're asking about history. Manage that CVO. They can have more than one cause. A lot of us have used AEIOU tips for a long time. I would like to add hypoxia and TIMP to that because I'm not sure that really fits in the others. It's alcohol, epilepsy, insulin overdose, underdose, trauma, infection, psych, and stroke. I would really think to be more complete, we add hypoxia and TIMP. So that's our overview on the multiple causes of altered mental status, and we'll do separate little screencasts on each of the causes.